a new warning about the severity of MPX cases, what the CDC says you need to know. Plus, Lio Tipton joins me to discuss the harrowing true story behind a friend of the family, and the scientist behind a breakthrough discovery is earning a Nobel Prize. That's all coming up on Advocate Today. Hi, and welcome to Advocate Today. I'm your host, Tracy E. Gilchrist. Thanks for being here with me. We're going to get right into the stories that we're following today. Officials are warning that some cases of MPX are more severe than originally thought. The CDC says some people with the disease have experienced debilitating symptoms. Those include painful lesions, some of which have led to amputations. The CDC says MPX spread to other organs and some even develop heart and brain inflammation. Most of these severe cases are in people who are also infected with advanced stages of HIV. The majority of the more than 25,000 cases in the US have been mild to moderate. So far, there has been one MPX-related death. The Supreme Court will begin hearing arguments this fall on key issues involving race, gender, and sexual orientation. The court will consider a web designer's refusal to create wedding website designs for an LGBTQ+ couple. The designer claims her religious beliefs prevent her from doing so. Another case is challenging race in college admissions or affirmative action. The suit claims that Harvard and the University of North Carolina discriminate against Asian American applicants. These decisions would follow the court's ruling on Roe v. Wade last session. The ideological makeup of the court hasn't changed, but the court now has its first African-American woman on the bench, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. The Advocate channel will continue to follow any updates from the Supreme Court. Turning over to entertainment, a chilling true story is coming to Peacock. A friend of the family explores the lives of the Brobergs and their seemingly innocent neighbor. Things take a turn for the worst when the Brobergs' daughter Jane is the victim of their family friend's grooming. I spoke to Lio Tipton, one of the stars of the new series, about the complexity of the story, finding humanity in their role, and more.
Her husband kidnapped her. Again!
I want to start out by saying that this story is wild and fascinating. I'd never heard it before. And I wonder if you would share a little bit about your reaction to first hearing about this story.
I think the heartbreaking part of it is that it sounds so out of this world, and yet it is quite grounded in its reality. Feeling the weight of the story as it unfolds, because it kind of happened almost, real time when you're reading the script, and I wasn't that familiar with the case beforehand. Yeah. And you don't want to believe it, and it's true, and I think that's what grinds.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that struck me is watching Gail, especially, and even Marianne, and the way they respond to this horrifying crime, really, with kind of complicity and protection of this man. And I wonder if you would talk a little bit about the socialization of women to kind of stand behind that and how that plays into this story.
Surface level, it was difficult for me to understand and to allow myself to, I don't want to say submit, but with Nick and with Eliza Hittman, who directed especially the first episode, where I think a lot of these character things are set, I was free to not have to feel like I was under his control, which is, how grooming works. You feel like, in a way, it's you are still in control. And for Gail, the humanity that I had to find, the connecting point that I really had to find, is that this is not a woman who is trying to be manipulative or not. This is not a woman who is trying to hide under the rug, this horrific thing. This is a woman who, in this day and age, especially being in the Mormon community, protecting her family was the most important thing. So every single line I did, every single scene, it was all through, all I am doing is I need to protect my family. Because I think she didn't know what was going on all the time. But her quick thinking was like, how can I just get him home safe?
Yeah.
Get the father to my boys and protect my home.
Yeah, I think that came through incredibly well. That absolutely reads on the screen. Kind of tangentially, and I know this is not part of Gail's story, but I wonder if you might be able to weigh in. One of the things that's used for leverage is this sex act between these two men. And so I wonder if you would talk a little bit about the role of homophobia and shame and how that is leveraged to protect this abuser.
That's a difficult one for me to answer because I think it takes more thoughtfulness than
we have time for.
have time for. And I think part of, to kind of also tie it into the other question, there are horrific things, and he's a sociopath. He's the fact that he picks up on people's not weaknesses, but their deepest, something deep in their heart, or just a kindness, and it shows how he was able to puppet. Yeah. And I think the fact that he uses these sensitive things against those involved is just another part of the kind of the horror that went into it. It's not, obviously, he didn't just affect one person. Bob, Brother B, hurt many and used things against,
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I have to wrap already, but I want to thank you for your thoughtfulness, and you're terrific in this show. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks very much to Lio for speaking with me. You can catch them in A Friend of the Family, streaming October 6th on Peacock. The Native American woman who made history for turning down an Oscar on actor Marlon Brando's behalf has died. Sasheen Littlefeather's death was confirmed by a tweet from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts. In 1973, Littlefeather appeared on behalf of Brando, who boycotted the Oscar ceremony in order to protest how Native Americans had been portrayed in the movies. When Littlefeather took the stage for Brando, she gave a short speech while some in the crowd booed her appearance. She was blacklisted by the entertainment industry for decades. Earlier this year, the Academy issued a formal apology to Littlefeather for the way she was treated after the speech. There was no cause of death listed for Littlefeather. She was 75 years old. He's responsible for a breakthrough discovery and is now getting one of the highest honors in the world. Swedish geneticist Svante Pääbo has been awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Pääbo sequenced the first Neanderthal genome in 2010. He also discovered that Homo sapiens interbred with Neanderthals. Pääbo's work showed that most of us have ancient DNA. The discovery ultimately gave rise to an entirely new scientific discipline called paleogenomics. Well, that's all the time we have for this Advocate today. Thank you for being here. For more coverage and content, the Advocate channel is streaming now on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and Android TV. You can also download our app on your Android or Apple devices. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. Thanks again for being with me.